Hello everyone, my name is Annie. I am the Autoimmune Dietitian and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to talk about Modified AIP. And if for those of you who don't know me, who are new to my channel, I am a dietitian. I help people use food and lifestyle as a way to improve their autoimmune disease symptoms and help them just feel better in their bodies and improve their quality of life. So Modified AIP stands for the Autoimmune Protocol, is an elimination diet that targets inflammation. It is a fan favorite within the autoimmune space because it is so effective. And additionally, the modified version is a lot easier to stick with than the original, or what is known as now core AIP. However, is this elimination diet for you? So today we're going to jump into what they are, or what this elimination diet is, and if it is the right one for you to try. Before I jump in, I just need to attach a disclaimer that the information in today's talk is not the substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only. Please consult your qualified health professional for any changes you make to your medical care, and that includes diet. Really important to always be in touch with your care team. Before I jump into the suitability of Modified AIP diet, let's first talk about what this is. So the Autoimmune Protocol, AIP, began around 2011. when a few functional medicine practitioners started experimenting with the relationship between diet and autoimmune disease. However, it wasn't until 2014 when AIP really took off. Dr. Sarah Ballantyne released her New York Times bestselling book, The Paleo Approach, and by 2016, the concept of using an elimination diet to improve autoimmune disease symptoms started showing up in medical offices all over the country and actually all over the world. Really cool. In 2017 and 2018, the first formal research studies on the effectiveness of AIP began and showed that the diet did in fact improve quality of life and lower disease activity, which is awesome. And since then, a handful of more research studies have begun and have either been published or are currently under review. Lastly, in 2024, the modified AIP version arrived, and this new version made the diet a whole lot easier to manage while still getting really good results. So the Autoimmune Protocol's overall goal is to use nutrient-dense food to improve gut health and lower inflammation. The elimination diet removes the common inflammatory foods and includes nutrient-dense foods. And this combination supports both the immune system and the digestive system by providing the body with key nutrients. Modified AIP came to be because of the widespread use of core AIP. Practitioners who were using core found that most clients didn't need the strict version of AIP, and it could include a variety of other foods without compromising results. So, what is the difference between core and modified? Core AIP removes all gluten, all dairy, grains and pseudograins, corn, soy, legumes, eggs, nuts, seeds, nightshades, alcohol, processed vegetable oil, processed food chemicals, and artificial non-nutritive sweeteners. That is a lot. What does it leave you with? It leaves you with vegetables, fruit, high quality proteins, and fats. And, some things that you can use to make grain type things like coconut and cassava and tiger nut, flours. So not a lot, which is why it's so difficult, right? People just have a really hard time sticking with it. Modified AIP allows things like pseudograins, so like quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, and chia. It allows legumes, except for soy, seeds, and ghee. So as you can see, the modified version relaxes the restrictions and makes it easier for people to survive this elimination diet on a really tight budget. There are a few key criteria for choosing core over modified AIP. For one, if someone has inflammatory bowel disease, so Crohn's or colitis, they will likely do better on the core version. Second, if someone has a very serious or very active disease, core might be a better choice. And lastly, if there are any barriers to cooking, accessing food, or support, modified will be the best choice. For everyone else, I think it really depends. I always opt for the least restrictive option that fits within your lifestyle. And I typically recommend starting with modified unless you obviously meet the criteria above. And if that doesn't help, switching to core, afterwards might be kind of, the second step. So there are two options for starting an elimination diet. Actually, with any elimination diet, you can either go cold turkey or take a step-down approach. Cold turkey sounds exactly like what it is. You stop all eliminated foods at the same time. On the other hand, the step-down approach slowly removes foods until you hit baseline, or what we know as the elimination phase. It truly doesn't matter which one you go with, but it should be the one that you'll be the most successful with. So if taking a bunch of foods out all at once seems really scary and overwhelming, I would highly recommend the step-down approach. If you are well-versed in elimination diets and have no problem cutting things out, then maybe cold turkey would be for you. But once you reach baseline, again, once you've eliminated all the foods that are to be eliminated, you should stick with that for a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 3 months. If you haven't seen improvements by the end of 3 months, your disease is not responding to food, or you might have other food sensitivities that you might need to address. I do a lot of food sensitivity testing with my clients. Sometimes there is overlap in allowed AIP foods and things that people might be sensitive to. So, to learn more about Modified AIP, I have on my website a free Modified AIP guide. I also use this elimination diet in my Ditch Your Inflammation Foundations program, which is a 4-week group program to help kickstart your anti-inflammatory journey. I do 4 programs a year, and if you're watching this, recently posted, my next one starts next week. So I'm currently enrolling for my Foundations Ditch Your Inflammation program. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you don't subscribe to my channel, please hit the little subscribe button. I try to put these videos out about every week. If you are interested in receiving my weekly newsletter, there is a link in my YouTube profile that you can click on to get the newsletter. You can also book a free discovery call if you want to chat with me about my services and what would be the best fit for you. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.